Let's get after it. Let's do it. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining, taking some time out of your Friday. I know, especially up here in Massachusetts, it's gonna be nice. It's a nice Friday, so I hope you're at least taking this from outside, maybe in a lawn chair, going on a walk, wherever it may be. But either way, I appreciate you throwing this on your calendar right before what I would predict to be a busy summer weekend. All right. I'm just going to jump in. Today, as you guys know, what you signed up for is you're going to learn how to find guests on the internet and earn their booking with meta ads. A couple of housekeeping items. Oh, hang on. A couple of housekeeping items. A basic understanding of meta or Facebook ads is recommended. You will get these slides and you will get this recording after the live presentation. I recommend if this is your first time ever hearing really the word meta ads, or this is your first time diving into this topic, I do recommend that you go through these slides one more time, watch this video that I have linked, and then run through the presentation again. It will help you give the 101, or it'll help you get the 101 on what meta ads is, how it's set up, how it's most importantly how it's different from just normal posting. You will need an Instagram and Facebook page to be successful with what you're going to learn today. And you will also need a business portfolio on business.facebook.com. That's where all the ads are run through. And you will need a direct booking website. I just want to preface before we go any further, there is a Q&A at the end of this presentation. So if you have any questions about direct booking websites, our favorite platforms that we like to use, feel free to ask once we get there. And also feel free to land your comments in the chat as I go through this presentation so you don't forget them. And I'll come back to them at the end of this presentation. Meta is Facebook and Instagram. I will use Meta, Facebook, and Instagram interchangeably because when I wrote these slides, when I wrote this presentation, I just picked whatever platform that came in my head first. And so therefore, just think of them as the same thing. The session will be about 35 to 40 minutes. Yesterday, I did this session for a private group, and it ended up being about 35 minutes. But at the end of the session, you'll have access to my email for questions. Please use it. I will respond to every single question that I get. And like I said, you will also get these slides. We're going to cover a ton in this session. You may want to rewatch the recording at 1.5x to 2x speed or read the slides. And especially watch that video I linked at the beginning if this is your first time diving into meta ads as a topic. Today, you're going to learn how to find guests on the internet and earn their booking with meta ads. A couple notes about me if you aren't familiar with who this guy is on the screen talking at me. My name is Scott Quesnell. Even though we have that wacky S in the middle, it is pronounced Quesnell. I'm the founder of Lodge Social, a direct booking marketing agency where we do specialize in exactly what you're going to learn today, ads. I'm also the writer of The Lodge Social, which is a free short-term rental marketing newsletter. Every week, I give away one idea or tactic that you can implement as soon as once you're done reading it. And as of right now, it's coming in on just about 10,000 rental operators, 10,000 subscribers. Through the agency, we average a 4x return on investment, and I am currently located in downtown Boston, Massachusetts. I've been in marketing for 8 years, worked with Once Upon a Farm, L'Oreal, Harvard, and many other brands that you might know. But I focus on Airbnbs and hotels for the better part of the last 3. I do want to preface, I am not an investor, Airbnb arbitrager, get-rich-quick dude, or finance bro. I'm a marketer. 100% of my professional life is focused on one thing: marketing. I know nothing about tax codes, interest rates, house flipping. I know very little about investing. I know very little about real estate markets, because when I go on walks, I judge billboards, business signage, digital ads if I'm listening to a podcast for fun, because I'm a marketer. Again. And I love ads. This is where my career started, because at 20 years old, I dropped out of college. Full-time personal training wasn't paying the bills. Really, all I could afford on a monthly basis was groceries, bottle of bottom shelf whiskey, gas, and my $410 rent in middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. So I knew I had to take my personal training online, or I knew I had to take my personal training business online, because this was the time where some of you may remember this if you were in the space. People would start posting workouts on like Instagram and Facebook, and then they would sell like digital personal training programs. That's what I wanted to do. And around the same time, due to luck or just asking the right questions at the right time, my my friend Tegan was getting into this thing called Facebook ads. I was curious, so I tried it, studied it every day, started to get it, started making money running ads for just miscellaneous businesses, friends of family, and I ended up quitting personal training and dropping out of college in the same year. Then I got hired by my dad's company to run ads. It went well, but the end goal was to get back to this online personal training thing, or at least just start my own Facebook ads company. So either a little birdie's got to fall down and get back up, or fly away. That at that time, I left my dad's company, started my first little agency, which went well, but has since been shut down, and then started Lodge Social, which is the second agency I own, the third agency that I've been a part of. And this is where it all started. Because of ads, I've built a career for myself without college, built careers for friends and their businesses, and been able to visit some of the most desirable places in America and parts of the world, which is probably a little bit of a reason why we're all in this in the first place, is so we can travel and go see things without having to physically be somewhere. Here are some meaningful wins using ads that we've achieved in the agency. 100% increase in revenue for a nature hotel in Pennsylvania. Recently, we got a 7x return on ad spend, which will make sense in a second if you don't know what that is, for another in Texas. A popular topic in the industry right now is pre-booking. And so through ads, we were able to, I guess, essentially pre-book $63,000 worth of revenue for a client before they even opened. To date, we've achieved 10 million lifetime views. 10 million people have seen the content that we've made, which I don't talk about enough, but I find extremely fascinating. And there are more stats where that comes from. Not related to Airbnbs and hotels. One of my best friends back in Wisconsin owns a goose call company, and I partnered with him years back, and we took it from zero to $200,000 a year within 2 years, purely based on Facebook ads. I also helped a candle company come out of what was, I mean, they were losing hundreds, if not thousands, daily on ads. I jumped into their ad account within 2 weeks. They were profitable. They were making money. So not only were they back to net zero, they were profitable on their ad account, and to this day, they're still cooking along. I also helped a travel agency go from $200,000 a year to what will be well over $1 million in 2027. Again, with an ads forward strategy. And of course, built a company of my dreams with a team of who I'd call friends more than staff, and do this with you. Put on these webinars, put on these presentations, communicate with rental operators around the country, because ads is the only outbound marketing channel that we use through the agency. I believe ads is the most impactful marketing skill you can learn. As you can see, it works in every industry for anyone, including you. So in this training, I'm going to share lessons, tips, tricks I learned from running my niche specific Airbnb and hotel company that was built around one core marketing skill set that has given me everything. And therefore I love it very, very much. Ads. If that's what you signed up for, if that's what you expected, you're in the right place. If you feel like you're not getting as many bookings as you want or maybe deserve, the problem isn't your property. It's amazing. And it should, quite frankly, get more eyeballs. I'm sure. I obviously haven't seen all of them, but I'm sure it is not getting the bookings that you believe it deserves. Your core issue is that nobody knows about you. The best way to show your ads, or the best way to show your stay, is by using meta ads. Here's why. And when I wrote these slides, since I've written these slides, I've come up with a different way to explain this. Airbnb, Google, you're all dependent on people actually searching for what it is that you sell. So you're waiting for people to search cabin in Poconos or cabin in Wilmington. And that market size is far smaller than the people who are interested in actually going to Wilmington or to the Poconos. And Therefore, Meta Ads is the only ads platform or really marketing platform that allows you to hunt. You can hunt and create demand by yourself because Meta Ads are interrupter ads. They show your ad to people whether they're thinking about you at that time or not. And I'm almost going to promise you that nobody is, because we wouldn't be in this pickle if people were. You wouldn't be here and you'd be fully booked. It's 11 Eastern. You'd be fully booked and maybe, having your first margarita on the beach. Bonus. You remember that one night you and a friend were talking about a product like a vacuum or maybe this new widget, and the next day when you weren't thinking about it, you saw a post related to that product? That's what we're also doing here. My dad's best friend, Jeff, he calls them creeper ads, because back in the Midwest where I'm originally from, we love to go to the hardware store. Like, we love to go to Home Depot and Lowe's and all that kind of stuff. And so, when they're all sitting by the fire, maybe having a beer or whatever, they'll just be like, yeah, tomorrow I got to go to Lowe's. And then they wake up that next day, boom, Lowe's ad. And so that's why he calls them creeper ads, because, he thinks they're listening. Anyways, side quest right there. There are two ways to show content to people who like you but aren't thinking about you. Option one, you can create content. You can whip out your phone, you can whip out your camera, you can create content, make videos, post those videos, do that again, then do that again, and then again. And you will eventually get results for free, but much later. You can also go with option two, which is create content, run it as an ad, do that again, and get results a lot quicker, because this costs money and you're essentially paying for speed, which I like, because hashtag times money. If that's also you, choose ads. Now I'm going to talk about how to run ads for direct bookings. This is, before I go any further, this is my favorite part of the presentation. This is what I believe to be the main meat. I think it will serve you the best. And I think that this section alone is exactly what you signed up for. But before we begin, I do want to say Meta needs to know what a booking is via the pixel. If you're staring at me through the screen right now and you are just like, what'd you just say? I have no idea what a pixel is. I've never heard about that. Watch that video I linked at the beginning, or also just go to Google and just type in Meta Pixel demo or walkthrough or 101, and you'll get the rundown there. You don't need to know how the Pixel was designed and how the Pixel came to be the Pixel and where the Pixel is going. You don't need to know the full lifetime story of what the Pixel is. You just need to know what it is and what role it serves in your marketing. And your budget when you start running Meta ads should start small and grow over time. $20 to $50 a day is plenty. Your ad set audience size should be 2 to 15 million. And I recommend only targeting one interest at a time. Our favorite in the agency is frequent travelers. So people who physically travel frequently, people who are interested in Airbnb, people who are interested in camping, people who are interested in travel, and people who are interested in booking.com. Lately, booking.com was our default. Since then, you can target people who are interested in like Priceline, Expedia, all those big platforms, and any of those are good picks. But just make sure that you're only targeting one interest at a time. And your age range should be default. In Meta, it is 18 to 65 plus. Perfect. Leave it wide open. You won't see results for 7 to 30 days. This is called the learning period. That's okay. Do not overanalyze your ads. Let Meta find your buyer. Think of it this way, if that way didn't make any sense. Think of you running ads for the first time as you hiring a new employee. It takes this new employee to learn about your business, learn about the customers that you are going after. And that's just part of the process that, we've accepted that as business owners. Think of Meta the same way, but instead of it taking like 6 months, it'll only take about 30 days. It does need to understand your business, who your customers are, and it does that through just collecting data through the pixel. The metrics that we pay attention to are clicks, cost per click, property views, or whatever stage 2 is. For example, if you're driving traffic, if you're driving people from ads to your homepage, and the next stage in the buying process is deciding on what property they want to pick, you want to measure the difference between people who go to homepage and who move on to stage 2. You want to measure that. We call it like the drop off, but a simpler way of saying it is you want to measure the amount of people going from step 1 to step 2. And then obviously focus on bookings and costs per bookings. Cool. The other thing that we pay attention to just in general is we want to make sure that followers are increasing and that leads are increasing. These are interest metrics, and we want to make sure that, obviously we know that people aren't going to book right away. Booking a trip is not an impulsive thing for most people. And we want to give them baby steps we want to give them baby steps to allow them to take those baby steps towards completing their goal. And that's what, somebody following you is, and that's what somebody becoming a lead is, which I'll explain a little bit more in a few minutes. Okay, this is what we aim for each metric, just so you can have a baseline right out the gun. Cost per click, $1 to $3 is where we want to stay. Property views, like I said, we want 10 to 50% of people making it to stage 1 to make it to stage 2. And then bookings, we want that to be about 1%. And then cost per booking, we want that to be 20 to 100%. I will expand on this to make this all make more sense towards the end of the presentation. And then in general, we want followers to increase, like I said, and leads, we try to shoot for 1,000% more than bookings. Okay, this is the core stuff. I'm gonna grab some water. And then while I grab some water, give me a thumbs up in the chat if this makes sense, if you like this so far, if this is worth your time. Sweet. Cool. Awesome. All right. Okay, there are 3 ways to structure a Facebook ads campaign: brand awareness, purchase, or both. If you don't know who is interested in your stay, what part of your stay that they love, where they're coming from, why or why not they're booking, this is the option you want to go with, because you have a lot of unanswered questions that really only data can answer. And so, trying to explain this, brand awareness, based on how expensive it is through Meta, is far cheaper than purchase, because how it works is when you tell Facebook, hey, I want to run a purchase campaign, the first people they're going to go after are the people who have purchased in the past. Which other company do you think wants to go after those people? Like every company under the sun, right? And so it's very competitive. Whereas with brand awareness, if all you're looking for is data and you just want to hone in on who these people are, it's much cheaper, because then therefore you're telling Facebook, go after anybody that you think is valuable to my business, and I will assess the data from there. With this, when it comes to success, you're chasing 2 metrics: followers and leads. These are the 2 metrics where bookings are sold. These are the 2 most valuable interest metrics that you can get, because followers, which is the least valuable one, people are, they're tapping on that follow button saying, I want to get more content from you. Like, I don't want to miss your next post. And then with leads, which is the most valuable one, people are giving you their private contact information, saying, I want you to contact me because I want to hear more from you. I want to sign up for deals, and I want you to tell me when to book, or just to give me updates on when the best time to book is. Your second option is purchase, and you want to choose this if people are familiar with your concept. For example, if you're near a popular area like the Smoky Mountains, or maybe a popular beach, let me let this person in, like a popular beach, if your stay concept is camping, these days most glamping is very familiar with most people. Hotels obviously are extremely familiar. We've tested lake cabins and beach houses, and those resonate with people rather quickly. Like, there's not a whole lot of thinking people have to do in order to understand, like, this is a lake cabin, this is a beach house. But if you have a 5-bedroom hilltop mansion in Mason, New Hampshire, I would not choose a purchase campaign, because few people book mansions in general. And until I created these slides, I had no idea where Mason, New Hampshire was. And it's really not that far. I think it's like an hour away. And I'll be honest with you, I still don't know where it is. So both concepts are unfamiliar and require more touch points. AKA, you have to sell people on why you're a good option for them. But if you had a 2-bedroom seaside cottage outside of Acadia National Park, I would go straight for the purchase because most people are booking 2-bedroom stays and 3.9 million people go to Acadia each year. Therefore, both variables are extremely familiar. Like I said, but just to preface again, I say this to say purchase ads are very expensive to run. If you are not accumulating that money rather quickly, you will rack up quite a bill. To solve this, if you do want to run purchase ads, or maybe you're a hybrid, you're going to go with option 3 because most of our clients in the agency are in this situation. The type of stay is familiar. They own a glamping resort, a seaside cottage, or a nature resort, but their location is a little off the beaten path. They're not in they're not in the Acadias of the world, or they're not in the Berkshires or the Catskills. They're a little outside, and so their location is not familiar. So we do this: 50% of the budget goes to miscellaneous brand awareness tactics, and 50% of the budget goes straight for the purchase. After the initial 2 to 3 months, we just assess where the bookings are coming from. Are they coming from the email list? Are they coming from people following us on social? Or are they coming directly from the ads? And then whichever answer is the one making money, we focus more budget there, or vice versa. If you're staring through the screen and you're just like, what is this guy talking about? I have no clue. I'm confused. I want to make it easy for you. If your stay is under $100 or $450 per night and you're within 30 minutes of something popular, go straight for the purchase. Let me explain like what something popular means. If you're near the Smoky Mountains, or if you're near these huge national parks or tourist attractions, yes, that is something popular. You do not have to overthink that. But there's also regionally popular things. So I grew up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, that area, and we have this city called Duluth. Some of you might be familiar with Duluth. It's on Lake Superior. It's the gateway to the North Woods, which is just our terminology of calling it a lot of trees. And it's very popular regionally. And so to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and some of those other smaller metros, it's the place to go. There's another town called Hayward that is even smaller, but it's just an outdoor recreation town. And so, in my opinion, if my market is the Minneapolis, Minnesota, those places, I will define Hayward and Duluth as popular. It's not popular nationwide, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going after people who are in Dallas. Cool? Does that make sense? Sweet. And if that's not you, if I didn't just list off your traits, you want to go for brand awareness or both. Okay. If you have any questions about that segment, what I define to be the most important segment, think of them, write them down, throw them in the chat. I will make sure to get there during the Q&A. While you are thinking of that, I'm going to take another sip of water and we will move on. Yes, Cindy and Vivek, I think I'm saying that right. You will get the slides right away. The recording takes a little bit to process, but you will get both right after this. Okay, I just taught you how to structure a meta ads campaign so you don't waste money. That's half of it. The other half is doing the work. Just like learning most new skills, like working out or building something or the guitar, you will think you suck in the beginning, and that's just part of the process. I don't want you to do that personally, because I think learning new skills and doing new things is more fun if you do it with a smile on your face. So I made 11 rules to help you not quit, and I still use them today. I came up with them actually during my first agency, which today feels like it was eons ago. So here are the 11 meta ads rules to help you avoid quitting through fear. I'm not going to read through each list item right now, but I'll let you kind of just digest so you know what's about to come down the pipe, because we're going to start with rule number one. The first 30 days is always learning time. Like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, social media algorithms quite literally act like human brains. They need time to wrap their heads around your business, around your customers. They need to figure out what are the traits and what are the activities your customers are making online, and that can take 30 days. Let it take that long. Like I said, the frame I like to make is think of the pixel, the algorithm, as a new employee for your business. Let them learn about your business, which is hard, right? As business owners, it's just like we know everything there is to know about our business, and it's just like, how do you not understand this? It's like, well, because they're new. They don't constantly think about it 24/7 like we do. But actually, once the pixel starts, it will be thinking about it 24/7 because it's a machine. That's what they do. The second 30 days is finding what works. So I want you to answer these questions over time. What posts or ads are getting the most likes, comments, or shares? What ads are driving the most bookings, if that's relevant, if you are starting to see bookings come in based on your campaign type, like we talked about previously. You want to know who is interacting with your stay. And when I say this, I am saying if you are getting comments on your posts, if you are getting likes on your posts, I want you to go through each one. It's not going to be many at the start. So I want you to go through each one and figure out, okay, what are the common traits with these people? Are they couples? Like, is it a younger person? There's some photos with boyfriend, girlfriend, or is it a mom? Like, is it a lady posting some photos with her kids or in some glamorous destinations, or is it influencers? Is it a mix between couples and solo single people that just love to travel for travel's sake? These are very important questions to answer because in Meta, you will notice, especially if I want you to keep your targeting size between 2 and 15 million people, that's a huge ocean. And so over time, the idea is you want to identify with one type of person because that is how people love you. Is if you perceive yourself as something made just for them, they will not even compare you to other options. They will book you. And the idea, the reason why I want you to answer these questions is because you're going to want to make more of these posts or ads that perform best. It's the whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, rule number 3, always be driving traffic. We call this training the pixel, and you won't get many bookings here, but what you're doing is you're incentivizing the Mark Zuckerberg machine with money to work harder and longer at finding your perfect guest. What I am saying is if you launch a campaign and you're telling Facebook, Meta, hey, I want you to go make me money, essentially, you want to help out Meta by also running a brand awareness or a traffic campaign in parallel. It doesn't have to be that 50-50 split. It can be like a 5-95 split, 95% going to the purchase campaign. But what you want to do is help Meta help you. And so if you are running a brand awareness campaign, it's constantly working on finding people who are interested in your stay. And I'll just end this by saying we've A/B tested this. We've done just a purchase campaign matched up with a purchase plus traffic campaign or training the pixel campaign, and the latter always wins. Okay, rule number 4, 80% of all your content should be what works. It's okay if stuff starts to look similar and you're getting sick of it. No one will remember. There's a famous story. I think it's Ford. I might be wrong on this. I brought up like a famous story yesterday too, and somebody in the comments was just like, it's correct, but you used the wrong example. But I think it was Ford. The CMO at the time, or no, it was the CEO at the time, was seeing this new campaign come out, and so he kept asking the CMO and all the marketing guys. He's just like, when are we going to pull this campaign down? Like, I keep seeing it. Like, I'm sick of it. When are we going to pull it down? And the CMO was just like, we haven't even launched it yet. and that just goes to show, just because you're sick of it doesn't mean other people are. There's a lot of attention out there, and people get distracted. And so if they see your thing for 5 seconds on a Monday and you show it again to them on a Wednesday, they're not going to remember what they saw on a Monday. I promise you. And then 20% of your content can be the shower thoughts. It can be the weird stuff, the funny stuff, the cool stuff. Doesn't matter. Just keep it under 20%. Okay. Rule number 5: use actors, or just show people doing fun things at your fun place. You want to have the actors experiencing your stay in the most desirable way possible. That means have them cook colorful, healthy food. That means have them brew coffee and drink it on the most desirable place of your property. That means have a bonfire at sunset. Make the s'mores, make the weenies, everything. You want to show people doing cool stuff. Using friends as actors is fine. And if you don't have any friends and your stay is within 2 hours of Boston, you can talk to me. Just kidding. Unless. Rule number 6: start with outside hooks. We spend thousands of dollars every single month testing the first 1 to 3 seconds of a ad or a video, and following the 80-20, 80% of our best ads, if not higher, starts with the exterior of the property, the whole property. And so if you don't have a drone, obviously drones are the best way to do that, because you can throw something in the air and really be not obstructed by like trees or anything else. And you can get a perfect shot of your whole property. If you don't have a drone, getting as far away from your property while the whole thing is in frame works just fine. But I do recommend, work off our investment of thousands of dollars every single month and start with exterior shots when you start this process. 7-day shifts. Analyze your content every 7 days to answer the same 3 questions you learned in rule number 2. What posts are getting the most views, likes, comments, and shares? What ads are driving the most bookings? And who is interacting with your stay? I say this to say marketing is a very habitual practice. You do need to build habits and processes of keeping the machine running while you're doing new stuff off on the side. And so worst case, this builds a habit of checking in. Best case, and this has happened to us quite a couple times, you get used to looking at the data and you get used to like noticing little spikes and trends. And some of those data points can be stuff that 10x's your bookings. So I think that's worth the trade, right? Like, worst case, you're building this habit of becoming a really good marketer. Best case, you 10x your whole machine. And so that's worth the trade for us. And I think it will be for you too. Okay, rule number 8. If you're going to try this, if you're going to do this, at the start, do not quit until you've spent the 3x the value of a booking. What I am saying is we've had people come back to me and say, Facebook ads doesn't work for me. And I'll go like, all right, well, how much did you spend? And they'll say like $250. I was like, how much is a booking worth? They're like $600. And I was like, well, you probably just didn't spend enough. Like, you didn't give Facebook enough fuel essentially to find the people who can afford a $600 weekend getaway. So I don't get nervous with a new campaign until I've spent 3x the value of a booking. I will say I rarely hit that limit. And once I do get the first booking, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on, come in right after that, because then at that point, Facebook gets it and they now know who to go after. Rule number 9, measure the micro KPIs. I preface on this, but I'll do it again. Not everybody is going to book right away from a campaign. Travel is not usually impulsive, but there are going to be other things that they do, like become a lead, view your stage 2, so view all your properties, view even your price and your checkout page, start the booking process, follow you on Instagram or Facebook. There's going to be things like that where they are telling you, I am interested, I just can't do it now because I am busy or I have other stuff going on. Track that stuff, especially at the start. Track that stuff, because if people are interested in your property but bookings are coming in rather slow, you're building up that future snowball. You're building up awareness and interest, and you're building up that moat of raving fans. So just make sure you look at that stuff. This could go inverse as well. If you are not getting these things from meta ads, maybe meta ads, maybe bring in a professional like us or somebody else to take a look at your meta ads if you're doing something wrong, or maybe it's a channel that isn't optimal for you. And it's cheap, by the way. Like, you don't have to spend a ton of money to figure out like people are either interested or uninterested. Okay, rule number 10, call out your perfect guest. I recommend literally just putting text on a screen that speaks to your people. This is a real ad that we've run. This Maine farmhouse is perfect for families, because call outs are the things that stop the scroll. Because if the right person you want to book your property is scrolling, and they see a statement made just for them, they'll stop the scroll. And then the visual hook, the first 1 to 3 seconds, is the thing that gets them to keep watching and eventually click to your website and move through the buying process. People can digest words a lot quicker than visuals. So give them the word that helps them, or give them the statement, I guess, that catches their eye in the ocean of endless content. All of our content has call outs, by the way. It's not even the 80-20 rule. It is 100. And so I recommend, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. And then rule number 11 is start. You have taken, at this point, 40 minutes out of your Friday to watch me talk through the screen about meta ads. But that's only half, like that's part of it. You won't get any of the results I'm talking about if you don't just start. Like I said, marketing is very habitual. It is a practice that takes a lot of effort, especially at the start. So I recommend, if this is something you want to do, you got to just do it. Your goal for a new campaign, or even existing campaign, if this is something you've done before, is to pay at least $1 in exchange for $3. So I'm going to explain that really quick. If a guest on average books 2 nights, and your cost per night is, this is supposed to be 600, and your cost per night is, oh wait, no, never mind. Yeah, your cost per night is $300. You do not want to pay more than $200 to acquire that booking, because the size of your booking on average is $600. You do not want to pay more than $200 to get that booking, because that's a 3-to-1 ratio. You may be thinking, well, that's high. That's 33%. Airbnb is 15%. Why would I want to do that? Because over time, you'll start to see this. 3-to-1 ratio will turn to 4, then 6, then 10. And eventually the idea is 0. You build up a big enough audience who rave about your stay, who love it, to where you don't have to pay anything for ads. Or even if you do, it's closer to that 10-to-1. Because, how many times would you trade $1 for 10? I'd do it every day. And the way to get there is to always be testing new ads, new audiences, new budgets, discounts if you're into that stuff, giveaways if you're into that stuff, and even influencer marketing. Some things you do not want to do is test new variables or ads in an ad set that is doing well. I'll say there are 3 levels to a campaign. It is campaign, ad set, and the physical and the actual ad. The ad set's the middle one, where you do all your targeting and pick the people that you want to go after. You don't want to do anything in one that's doing well, because then you'll screw it up. And you also don't want to increase your budget by more than 20% per day, because then you will force Meta back into its learning mode. And that essentially restarts that 30-day, where Meta's just like, oh, I got to relearn about the business now. It'll cost you 30 days. That's what I'm saying. That's essentially what I'm saying. Okay, let's recap. Today, you learned how meta ads work, why they work for Airbnbs and hotels, my favorite part, how to structure a meta ads campaign, and how to not quit. I promise, if you follow this process, you will find your guests even if they aren't thinking about you, build a raving fan base, and earn their booking. Boom. That's the presentation. I'm going to move into the Q&A right now. This went a little longer than I expected, but just to mention, if you are interested in working together or doing cool stuff together, we do have a cohort and coaching program. It's get100kstay.com. You will get an email with the link as well. This has weekly Q&As with me, one-on-one coaching with my team. It's everything you need to do this all by yourself. Or, like I said, we have a full service agency, getlodgesocial.com, where we do everything I just talked about today. My email is scott@getlodgesocial.com. If you have any questions or you want to take this offline, feel free to hit me up. I'm around all day and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to jump into the Q&A. I'm going to start with the questions in the chat. If you have a question, kind of like what Austin's doing right now, throw the hand raise emoji in it, and I'll just go in order of how I see them. If that's cool. So I'm gonna get water quick.